Okay, so I am on turn, and this is not a great rack, but it's definitely doable. I do have Haji as a play available, but I'm not sure if I should play the eye off because I want to keep it for the queue. Um, I could also play Chuck, and that would be a good play. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Chuck because keeping the eye is essential for the queue, and yeah, and the Q and the H are good tiles for later. I draw the blank on the second turn, which is really nice, really fortunate. I'm looking for a play that gets rid of Q and one of these tiles at least. There would there would be FIQH if I had a F available somewhere on this board, but I don't, unfortunately. I have Phi available on to me, which might be good because it gets rid of Q, it gets rid of P and the H together, and it keeps the Q, but I think QAL blank is not the worst sleeve. But I ideally want to hit this triple and score more for myself. I do have something like Hila, but QP blank is not the greatest rack lead. The good part about playing Phi is that nothing can come up here unless there's a play uh, down here that enables something to come up here. But um, yeah, but I think for now, Phi looks like my best option. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Phi. I draw the X. That's not bad in itself. I have something like Axel available underneath Phi. That would be a good 40-point play. Yeah, 37-point play, and keeps QE blank again, which I'm not too worried about the Q as long as I have the blank, um, because I can always use the blank as a U. And if I draw a U on top of that, that is even better for me because QU gives me a higher chance to bingo. Okay, my Axel spot gets taken away. Um, Igloo comes down. That's a valid play. I also have something like Ilex and Jake. Ilex takes an S and to make Silex. I also have Lex with all, which scores a little bit more, but it keeps QAI blank, which is a lot of vowels. I could also just play Exile with Jake, keeping Q blank, but I think that's getting rid of important tiles. I think I'm gonna play it safe and go with Lex. I'm a little bit confused on this move, so I'm gonna take a while. I could also play Axel, but that doesn't score enough. So the best options that I have are Ilex and just Lex under AW. I like Ilex because of the QA move, but it opens up the S lane for my opponent, which is a little bit to worry about. But I think I'll be okay with that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play Ilex because I like the QA leave better than the QA I leave. I do draw a bingo. I have equated on my rack, which is really nice, and it does play. It does play in a really good spot and scores 104 points for me. And it does not get blocked either. So, yep, I don't think I'm gonna take more time on this play. I'm just gonna play equated and take the points for myself. My opponent played Vape, which gave her, I think, around 40 points. Yeah, that should be 44 points, which is good. That was a good play. I thought about the DIGE spot, but I couldn't quite get anything there. I draw the second blank as well, which is really nice. And to get rid of the clunky tiles on my rack, I have F, U, and Z to get rid of, but that all those play in one move with Fuse. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get rid of the clunky tiles on my rack with Fuse. It also creates another lane with ES for me, which is really nice. I also have this selects lane available. I also have the triple lane available starting with a D, which is not too likely to be helpful for me, but it is still a lane nonetheless. Okay, I draw pretty bad tiles, but it's okay. I can if this spot doesn't get taken and it doesn't, I can play quit and score and also unbalance my rack again, which is really good. So yeah, I don't think there's much to think about on this turn, and I think I'm just gonna play quit because it also takes away that spot from my opponent. Okay, I have decently high scoring tiles, but not quite close to a bingo again. But again, I have a way to balance my rack in such a way that I score high. I can play Biz in column K, and that would really um, score high and like give me VACS is not the worst rack leave again. Um, so again, like I don't think there's a point wasting time on this move again because VSES I quite like that because V and C together are synergetic. Um, well, not the most synergetic, but definitely somewhat synergetic. Also because I have the T floater, this rack can be quite bingo prone. And yeah, this gives me 36 points, gets rid of some of the bad tiles that I have. Okay. I think Activize is good. But actually, never mind. Activise does not sound good. My opponent has been scoring pretty consistently. Like she got a 38-point play, she got a 22-point play, but each time she is getting rid of at least 4 of her tiles. So that leads me to believe that she has had troubles with what she's been drawing, and and I and that does play into my hands. But at some point, she is bound to pick up good tiles. Same is the case for me, though. I have been scoring around 40 points every move, which is definitely a good thing to have. I have been um, a little bit unlucky on my draws, but that's about the game. My opponent um, blocks the select spot, so that leads me to believe that she does not have um, an S. B8 takes a C. This is a good spot, but it's definitely a cheeky spot. But um, if I could have gotten rid of one of my eyes, that would have been perfect. But I don't. Like Kasi, unfortunately, is not a word. Hmm. I do have avionics through um, through N, which unfortunately is not available on the board, or even an O, which is not available as a floater on the board. I'm looking for IC ending bingos, and this through this T floater. Elvistic. I could also just fish with via. That does get rid of most of the lanes on the board, because then the only lane available is the T lane. Otherwise, I did have this D lane. Yeah, this frag is only likely to bingo with IC or ICS endings. I could also play Visa, but that's not. That scores 10 more points, uses the S and opens the triple. So I don't like with a lead like this. I don't want to give my opponent any chances. There are still 3 S's in the bag. I'm still not sure about active eyes, but I don't think it would be good. So I think I'm going to end up playing Via and yeah, and hope to draw something that plays through the T and hope that the lane doesn't get blocked. But even if it does, I do have something through the V, which is unlikely, but okay, I draw a really fortunate rack. Oops. Yeah, I'm looking for something ending with IVES. So I do have in caves, but unfortunately it doesn't use all of my tiles. I could just stick for caves. Yeah, the play that I thought of does play here. Case. Actually, might think of playing case and keeping the iron blank because the iron blank is a really strong rack leave, and I do score 45, so I'm likely to bingo again next turn. This this bag is pretty bingo friendly. Huh. Dan CS plays, but yeah, I'm coming under time pressure. Cassine is also good, but yeah, I might take the score and keep IN for next turn. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with case and take the score. Natalie outdares, comes down from my opponent, gets a 60 points. I'm okay with that. I was under time pressure, so I had to get rid of um, some of my tiles. I was looking for a bingo right there. The good part about this is that now most of the lanes are blocked. I think I'm going to go with Nye to completely block up the board. And I have the good tiles. If my opponent does decide to open, I am gonna bingo. The reason why I didn't look for a bingo through the V is because I am under time pressure and I don't want to have less time uh, when I reach the end game. I'm looking for a TH ending bingo. Or even a VAL ending bingo. Oh, actually, that does play. Interval. That's actually a really nice spot. Let's just hope that spot doesn't get taken. And I should be playing interval next turn. Huh. I was really close to labyrinth, just a Y, but looking back a few turns, I should not have given my opponent out dares. I should almost certainly have bingoed, but given that I was under a lot of time pressure, I opted to take the score instead and retain my blank so that I can bingo now. I think it effectively comes out to the same score, but yeah, like thinking from a solely competitive standpoint, I should not have allowed her to bingo because, uh, I mean, she's still in touching distance. Like another bingo and she would be uh, back in the game. But yeah, I hope that she doesn't take the V spot, and of course, as it goes in Scrabble, she does. Uh, I'm actually gonna go with the rival. Actually, no, that would be a mistake. I could go with Rin. I would like to get rid of my L, but I don't quite. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to play here. I think I'm gonna go with TI. Keep the board pretty blocked still. Keep the A if I do manage to find an AL ending bingo. Doesn't look like I will be, but that's okay by me because I have a decent lead. So the tiles that are left in the bag, it is quite likely that my opponent has a bingo. I do have a playable bingo on my rack. That would be unlearn, but not sure if this takes an S. There's no I for an ing for my opponent, so I do have one of those. So I think I will I think I'm gonna do this. I could play VOR to block this lane. The only thing the stakes above here that is available in the pool is a T, which is fine. The stakes in S, I don't want to do that. ROAN, definitely a better play, but there's only 3 in the bag. I want to play. I want to play just 2. I am under a lot of time pressure, so I wanna hurry this up. I do believe relearn is a good word, so relearned should be good if an E opening does present itself here, like in this lane or in this lane. Oops. I don't quite see a bingo in these, like a 7-letter bingo in these 8 tiles. I could have maybe played ROAN and left my opponent with a set of tiles that would not have bingoed anyway, but I didn't want to take a risk. So the idea here is that even if she does bingo, even if she does bingo, she still has 1 on her rack, and I get another chance to play. Hopefully her bingo won't be more than 60 to 70 points here. But I like, again, as I mentioned, I don't see a bingo. Actually, I see 1. I see Genesis. Okay. That's gone. Yep, I have to play because I am under a lot of time pressure. I do have Troll to go out. So Genesis, as in the plural of Genesis, is now out. So I don't see a 7-letter bingo in these And even if there is, it would probably be ending with an S. So there's no spot to play an S over here. If my opponent does, I get 1 minute of extra time. So if my opponent does not bingo here, I can, and I get a 10-point penalty if I do use that extra time, but that would be okay because I'm in a comfortable enough lead where I can get a -10 and still figure out my end game. Again, when I look back at that move, I could definitely have played tan, but wouldn't have made too much of a difference. Excuse me. I'm really rusty on my 5-letter words, so there definitely should be something that ends in an A with these styles, but again, um, yeah, I'm pretty rusty on my 5-letter words. Lorth or Lurth um, are not good, but this would be a spot to consider as well. Okay, that was a marathon, but I did come out on top, and as always, see you in the next game.